Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to the Escape for Tarkov video. Today I'm covering the Falling Skies guide where you need to do this quest to unlock the ticket, which is the one to escape from Tarkov. Now I'm covering all my main story task guides. I'm getting them all up to date, making them look all schmick and ridgy-dig, so then that way you guys can have all the information clearly explained, and hopefully BSG doesn't change anything and there'll be evergreen in there for you forever. So if you're new to Tarkov, this is the perfect guide for you. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. All right, so Falling Skies should kick off when you go to the Fallen Plain, which is on the Ruef Gate or UN roadblock side of Woods, the opposite to Outskirts, I guess. And when you go to that Fallen Plain, it literally starts the whole quest line. The next part, unfortunately, doesn't progress until you have Prapor level 2. Now, this is kind of easy to have. It's if you've progressed your levels up enough. And if you have either Unheard Edition or Edge of Darkness, you should already have pretty much the rep sorted. However, otherwise you will need to quest through the side quests of Escape from Tarkov to get Prapor level 2. So you'll need the rep, the money spent, and the level. Once you've done that, you need to visit Prapor, speak to him, then visit through all the other traders, and it will tell you to go find a flash drive. Now, that flash drive is located on Shoreline. You can buy more information from therapists for 2,000 USD, but I would just recommend skipping that part because I've telling you the location right now. So it's at the tunnel extract on Shoreline. So no matter where you spawn on the actual map, run over towards the tunnel extract, and there is a G-Wagon there. I found it behind the back left wheel or tire, but it can spawn like on the side guard along the edge, and just look around. If it's not in those two locations, I'm sure it'd be not very far from it's definitely on the car somewhere. Once you've done that, you head over to, or you extract the raid and you hand it over to Prapor. He'll tell you to wait a little bit. Sometime around an hour later, he'll tell you to get the plane's flight recorder. Now this one is located back on Woods. So you head back over to Woods and you go back to the plane, and then on the side of the plane where there's a big crack in like a big hole in the side of the is it called a fuselage? The big side of the actual plane. It's kind of like a weird looking thing in like an orangey reddish color, and it's just located on the ground. You'll loot that, and then once you extract, you need to head over to Shoreline to place it down. So once you've picked it up, extract the raid. If you don't want to head immediately to Shoreline, you can actually go to the trader screen, and then you could transfer it across as I'm showing right now. So like, for example, if that was the flight recorder, you could transfer it off, go do some other raids, and then when you are ready to go over to Shoreline, put it back into your on the character spot. Now, once you're ready to go into Shoreline, you need to go to what we call Scav Island. So it's very close to the tunnel. Go across the sunken ship bridge over to Scav Island, back to the back of the actual hut that's in there, and you'll be able to place it down. Once you've placed it down, go visit Prapor, and he'll tell you he needs some items. So you'll need to hand over 2 found in raid tool sets, 3 found in raid rec bats, and 5 found in raid printed circuit boards. You have a couple options for these. For the printed circuit boards, you can just go and find them, but you can actually craft these from either from a workbench level 1 by having a flat screwdriver and pulling apart DVDs. You'll get 2 per DVD drive. Or if you've got a normal screwdriver, you can actually craft for every gas analyzer, you can craft 2 found in raid circuit boards. On top of that, you can also craft rec bats, same flat screwdriver, and a power bank. But you do need workbench level 2. So if you've progressed workbench level 2, you can craft 2 rec bats at a time. So that will get that part sorted. Then you can also craft tool sets as well at the workbench. You need pretty much all the items that you would normally get from doing the barter trade for the actual tool set, but you can actually do a craft now instead. I think it requires you to have a ripstop as well. So workbench level 1, all the items for the barter trade from mechanic level 1. However, you need a ripstop fabric as well, and then you can craft tool sets as well. So you can craft every item needed for that Falling Skies if you just want to zoom through it. All right, after you've done that, you need to head over to the Moldy House over on Shoreline. It's also known as like the Chairman's House, and you need to pick up the Elektronik flash drive and the plane crew transcript. When you get inside the house, there's a bed fallen over on its side. Pick up the piece of paper that's on the bed or on the corner of the bed, and then the bedside table, the corner table, there's the flash drive located on top. You could read the transcript if you want, head outside the raid, and then go and speak to Prapor and hand over both items. Now you'll get a reward once you hand over both items, and you'll have to wait for more information from Prapor. I think it takes about an hour. Once you've done that, you'll be required to go back to Woods to pick up the armored case from the plane. Now, this is where it gets interesting. And let's go from there. So head into woods, go back to the plane, inside the plane. So like literally right where the cockpit is, go in that little staircase, turn to your left, and there is the armored case on the ground. There's also a note on the pilot's seat from Mr. Kerman. So you can pick up that and have a read. It'll be your first introduction to the man Kerman. And then you need to survive and extract the raid. Now, this is where things get interesting. And I'd highly recommend you don't go any further unless you understand where you want to go through the quest lines. But once you've survived and extracted the raid, you'll get the choice to hand over the case to Prapor or not. So from here, you have a few options. I'm not going to go down the whole quest line of the ticket. Option number 1, you give the case directly to him. You say you found the case. You'll get 1.5 million rubles. There's the option of, say, you didn't find the case, but you still hand it over to him. You'll get 1 million rubles. And then you have the option to say that you found the case and you keep it anyway. So they're your 3 options pretty much. So either say you found the case and give it to him, say you didn't find the case and give it to him. That will give you a different money reward. I would just say you found the case and give it to him for the 1.5 million. Otherwise, just keep the case for yourself. They're your 2 major options. And the reason why you would keep the case for yourself is so you give it to Mr. Kerman. Now, the follow-on effects from this is, it is definitely makes an effect to the whole of the ticket, primarily with how much money you're going to have to pay Prapor if you want to go down that quest line. So, for example, if you give the case to Prapor, you will only have to pay him 300 million rubles instead of 500 million rubles. But you will have to unlock Lightkeeper to progress a little bit down the ticket line. However, if you keep the case for yourself, then you don't have to unlock Lightkeeper to escape from Tarkov, but you will have to pay the 500 million to go down the ticket line. So yeah, ultimately, it doesn't mean that you it's not a point of no return in the fact that you still have options to all 4 endings of Escape from Tarkov. But if you're going down the, I think it's called the Survivor ending, it'll make a big difference if you want to pay 300 million or 500 million. And it will make a big difference on if you want to unlock Lightkeeper immediately or if you want to unlock Lightkeeper a little bit later on. It does give you the option. If you do decide to keep the case for yourself, you can escape from Tarkov without having to go to Lightkeeper at all. So that does save a lot of effort because that means you don't have to go to Lighthouse. So if you don't want to have to go to Lightkeeper at all, and I would probably just say at this point of the time, it's probably best to keep the case for yourself, because overall it means you do less work. Even if you have to farm an extra 200 million rubles, it means you don't have to go to Lightkeeper. So realistically, probably the best answer is to keep the case for yourself unless you want the achievement for giving him the case. I would say personally, before you hand over the case, have a good read of the wiki page for the ticket, where there's this giant flow chart. I'll put a link down below, but this gives you a really good understanding of what path you want to go down to escape from Tarkov and if you should hand over the case or not. Like I said, unless you're going for the achievement to hand over the case, I would keep the case because I think it works out best overall in the end anyway. That is it. Hopefully this guide was useful. That gets you through Falling Skies. A lot of these other ones are actually, like other main story tasks, are a lot more exciting and interesting than just running back and forth on shoreline and woods. But yeah, this one is very critical for the ability to escape from Tarkov. So thanks so much for watching. I'm going to be putting out main story task guides for all the new tasks. I'm updating all my old guides, getting everything 1.0 ready, and hopefully as evergreen as possible so it's useful for you in the future. So like, comment, subscribe. If you're new, definitely subscribe. Appreciate all the support. Share it with your friends if they're new to Tarkov, all the new player playlists and the guides and all that. And lastly, I'll see you next time.